right, shalom to all my brothers and sisters of Wisdom and Torah Ministries. This is Did You Know about the temple guard and the temple priest guarding the temple. We're going to keep it short today. I pray we do. And I'm going to stay behind the camera today. I want to show you some things. And I'm going to read from Midot, the Mishnah, the tractate Midot, in regards to the role of the Levites in the temple and the priests. Many people do not know that there were guards in the temple. Now, let me read you some verses as to why there was a need for guards. But before that, let me read from the Mishnah Kehati, chapters 1, Mishnah 1. And it says, all three sites, the Kohanim, the priests, stood guard in the temple. In the Beit Avtinas, in the Beit Havnisot, and the Beit Hamoked. Now, let me show you quickly where those buildings are so you have an idea more or less what we're talking about. Right in here, this is one of the places where the priests will keep guard. We're talking about the priests now, not the regular Levites. The Sha'ar Hanitzot, or the building right here in the corner. Now we're talking about in the holy area, right in here, which this dealt with the holiness of the temple. Only the priest can be around here, in this area, not the Levites. The Levites had a restricted area right around here where they can sing by the Duchan, somewhere around here. Okay, this area. Little chamber. But other than that, they were outside the what is called the holy area of the priest. And they were keeping guard in three places. One, Beit Avtinas, which is right in here, in this building. It's a huge building. If I go back to the previous slide, it gives you an idea how big these buildings were, as you see. They were very, very big, about 100 feet high. About 100 feet high. Okay, so this particular structure right here, or the gate, the Nicanor gate, you see right here, the structure, it is estimated, they're not quite sure, that it was 8 stories high. So the building was incredibly big. Let me continue reading here, and it says, and the three sides of the Kohanim stood guard in the temple, which was Beit Avtinas, which is right here, where they will make the bread and the incense, on top of the incense, on top of the Sha'ad Hamayim, which is right here, the door of the water ceremony. They used to bring the water on the day of Sukkot right through there. You have Bet Hamoket on the top right of your screen right there. And also, you have the Bet Hanitzot on the lower right, as you see here. These were the 3 of the 24 priestly courses were kept to take care of everything that happened and protecting the Santa, the holiness of the camp. Where do you get that from? You get that from the book of Numbers, chapters 15, in which Elohim gives the responsibility of the priests to maintain order in the tabernacle because they will bear the guilt. We see an example of this when Pinchas, he put the spear through Cosbi and Simri because those two have profaned the holy. So that his job was to keep the holiness of the camp intact and not to let anybody profane it. So when you look into chapters 18 of the book of Numbers, listen to what it says. And the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. Also bring with you your brethren of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that you may be joined with you, that they may be joined with you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tabernacle of witness. Now, let me give you some more verses to really share this with you. Now, understand the structure. You understand their jobs. You understand the purpose and the function of the priestly guard. Remember that in the book of John, chapters 18, verse 3. I'm going to go there real quickly. The book of John, chapters 18, verse 3. It tells us. Chapters 18, verse 3. Yeshua getting arrested. I'm going to read verse 2. And Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, and Yeshua also met there with his disciples. Then Judah, having received a detachment of troops, you see that? Having received a detachment of troops and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, came there and lanterns, torches, and weapons. Now, who were these troops and these officers? They were the temple guard. there were 24 temple guards. Okay? And I'm going to read to you from the Mishnah, and I'm going to tell you where there were. Now, you may not be able to follow all along because, I'm not really pointing out to every place there were in the temple. But I'm going to put this slide right here so you can see not only the court of the women right here, court of the women in this area right here. You have gates, all of these gates. Keep in mind, all of these gates right here, the 13 breaches, all of these in this area that you see. Then you have these buildings. Let me talk a little bit about those 4 buildings. If you're looking from south to north, this building is called the Eastern Building. It has names, but I'm going to give you more or less what the book of Ezekiel talks about. The Eastern Building. Then you have the Northern Building. Obviously, that's northeast, but it's called the Northern Building. Then you have the Western Building on the north. And then you have the Southern Building on the southwest. They were given that, and the book of Ezekiel talks about this. Now, these buildings were incredibly big. They were close to 100 feet tall. And this structure right here, which is the temple, it is believed to be about 200 feet in height. So this was a very huge structure that we need to consider when we do our studies and we study the temple service. So as I'm reading you this, I'm going to read from the Mishnah as you look at the structure of the temple. This 4 chambers, this one, when you go enter from the east over here, go in this direction. When you make a left as you come in from the east to the west, that is for the Nazarite. That's what Paul would have gone to. Not only he would have come here, Nicanor gate, then bring the hair shaved off to this area, and then he will come back to bring the sacrifice and wave it in here. Then you have here the room of the word, where they will inspect the wood, making sure they have no insect, that they have no deficiencies on that before they're presented on the altar. This chamber was the one for the lepers. They had a mikvah in there. And then here you have the one of the oils. So this is the court of the women and the 4 chambers. This is the Nicanor gate, and you can see a better right over here. Let's see if I find a better structure. Let me try to find it for you. Give me 1 second. I think I get it. There we go. And this is the Nicanor gate. Whoops. Right in here. Okay? All right. So, going back to the other ones that I was looking at. Okay, now let me read you from the Mishnah Kehati in regards to the temple guard. We are focusing only on the temple guard in this study, because there was an army of Levites with the sole purpose of protecting the Santa, protecting the holiness of the temple. No one who was not supposed to be there, for example, an unclean person, a leper, somebody who was a Gentile going into any of these areas, the penalty was death. No Gentile can cross any part of these gates. There was a sign of the soreg, which is the middle of the wall of division, that no Gentile who was uncircumcised can go past. No one who was not in covenant can go past that stage who was out in covenant. And they can come into the structure of 500 cubit by 500 cubits. All right? It says, and the Levites in 21 sites. So let me read from the beginning. On 3 sites, the priests stood guard in the temple. Beit Aftinas, I already showed you right in here. Beit Hanitzot, over here. And also Bet Hamoked, over here. Now, those buildings also serve for a whole bunch of different purposes, but we're only focusing today on the 3 priestly guards in the holy area, okay, of the priests. But there were more priests. There were 24 in total. The rest were Levites, okay? And the Levites in 21 places. 5 for the 5 gates of Har Habayit, the 5 gates of the coming into the temple. You're talking about the surrounding gates coming in. You have the Hulda gate. You have the Eastern. You have all the stuff. So you got a police station there. 4 in its 4 corners from inside it. 5 from the 5 gates of the Asara. You have gates over here of the Asara, right? You have gates also protecting on the outside here. Whoops. Let me go back. And then you have from the outside, 4 for its corners from the outside, and 1 in Lishkat HaKorban. There is I forgot where it was right now. There is one for the, I think is this one right here. Okay? Korban, for the for the priests, for the sacrifices, and one for lishkat ha-peroket, which is for protecting of the veils, and behind the ha-peroket. All right. Now the Mishnah discusses the guarding of temple. Now it says it is a Torah command to guard the temple all night long, not against enemies or thieves or anybody else. And in reality, it was to enhance its glory, just as a royal palace are watched by a ceremonial guard. In other words, this is the house of the King of the universe. According to some commentators, the temple was guarded day by day as well, not only at night but also at daytime. Now, this is all based on Numbers chapters 18, verse 1 through 5, which I told you earlier. Their responsibility was to keep track and to make sure that they were protecting the holiness of the camp. What's really amazing to me is that in Midot, chapters 2 of the Mishnah, chapters 1, Mishnah 2, paragraph 2, it tells us what would happen if some of those priests will fall asleep. It says, the Har Habayit, or the temple, or the mount, the house of the mountain, the Har Habayit person will circuit each of the watches, and the torch was burning before him, and any watch that did not stand, and the Har Habayit person will call out to them. In other words, he's getting near any one of the priests that will have, like for example, there was priests guarding over here, priests guarding over here, or the roof. Whoops. Go back to that one again. I'm sorry. Priest guarding in this area, in this portico right over here. Another priest guarding in this portico right over here. And this particular priest will go around the area in the middle of the night with a particular torch, and he would call out, Shalom Aleichem. And if it was evident that he was asleep, he would strike him with his staff, and he was empowered to burn his garments. And they will say, what is the sound in the asara, which is the grounds there? The sound of a Levite being struck with his clothes being burnt because he was asleep in his watch. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, once he found my mother's brother sleeping, and they burned his garments. So as you see, any one of the priests that would sleep anywhere in the structure of the tavern or the temple, their garments will be burnt. So this lets us know that they were all around the temple, they were guarding in the evening, and they were supposed to stay up all night long. That was their responsibility. Now, there were 24 priestly courses that were doing the duties every day and every night. I want to read you some verses. Numbers chapters 1, verse 50 to 53, because I want to give you biblical resources for you to know where we get this from. Okay, why is and what is the duty of the priest here in regards to the temple? We're going to be reading in Numbers chapters 1, verse 50 to 53. But you shall appoint, let me read from verse 49. Only the tribe of Levi you shall not number, nor take a census of them among the children of Israel. And it says, but you shall appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of the testimony, over all its furnishings, over all the things that belong to it, and they shall carry the tabernacle and its furnishings. They shall attend to it and camp around the tabernacle. It says, and when the tabernacle is to go forward, the Levites shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to set up, the Levites shall set it up. The outsider who comes near shall be put to death. That's called encroachment. Verse 52. The children of Israel shall pitch their tent, everyone in his own camp, everyone by his own standard, according to their armies. Verse 53. But the Levites shall encamp around the tabernacle of testimony, that there may be no wrath on the congregation of the children of Israel, and the Levites shall keep charge of the tabernacle of the testimony. So therefore, the duty was for the Levites to protect the holy area right over here, that no one could get in. That no one could get in. Only those people who are supposed to be there, like the priests. The regular Israelites over here, women here. The men of Israel can come up to here to intercede. The Levites had a particular, the Dukan right here where they can sing, and they were also working inside of these buildings to keep everything set and ready. And they were keeping guard throughout the whole camp, throughout the whole temple. So they took the tabernacle command and they applied it to different jobs later on in the temple, so on and so forth. Now, Let us read also in Numbers chapters 3, verse 38. Chapters 3, verse 38 says, Moreover, those who were to camp before the tabernacle on the east, before the tabernacle of meeting, were Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping charge of the sanctuary to meet the needs of the children of Israel. But the outsider who came near will be put to death. All who were the number of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron number at the commandment of the Lord by their families, and all the males from a month old and above were 22,000. So as we can see here, the command to have the sons of Aaron and Aaron to keep charge of the temple. This is why in this area, which is a very big size here, you have the altar, only the priests, the sons of Aaron, can guard. And the Levites were in charge of the rest of the structure all around the tabernacle, or the temple in this case. Let's read now 2 Chronicles. 1 Chronicles chapters 26. 1 Chronicles chapters 26. And I want to thank Joseph Good, my teacher in the temple, for allowing me to use those slides and for the time he spent with me verifying information and making sure that we are teaching the right thing. Verse 17 and 18 of 1 Chronicles 26. It says, 1 Chronicles 26, verse 17 and 18. On the east there were 6 Levites, on the north 4 each day, on the south 4 each day, and for the storehouse 2 by 2. And for the parvar on the west there were 4 on the highway, and 2 at the parvar. That's one of the buildings extending from the temple that we just showed you. These were the divisions of the gatekeepers among the sons of Korah, okay, and among the sons of Merari. So clearly we see the command tells us what the organization was in the temple in regards to the temple priest. And lastly, I'm going to read from chapters 23, verses 25 to 32. Verses 25, 32, the duties of the Levites. And it says, For David said, the Lord Elohim of Israel has given rest to his people, that they may dwell in Jerusalem today forever. And also to the Levites, they shall no longer carry the tabernacle or any of the articles for its service. For by the last word of that David, the Levites were numbered from 20 years old and above, because their duty was to help the sons of Aaron in the service of the house of the Lord, in the courts and in the chambers, in purifying all of the holy things, and work of the service of the house of the Lord, both with the showbread and the fine flour for the grain offering, to the unleavened cakes, and what is baked in the pan, and with its mixed, what is mixed, and with all kinds of measures and sizes. To stand every morning to thank and to praise the Lord, and likewise at evening, and at every presentation of a burnt offering to the Lord on the Sabbath, and on the new moon, and on the set feast, by number according to the ordinance governing them regularly before the Lord. Verse 32, and that they should attend to the needs of the tabernacle of meeting, the need of the holy place, and the needs of the sons of Aaron, the brethren, in the work of the house of Adonai. So what we see is that in the temple, we have perfect order. What we're looking at, we're looking from the from the northwest, From the northwest, we're looking towards, southeast. And we see this building, Beit HaMoked, right here. If I could just get this thing ready to work. Beit HaMoked right here. It's about 100 feet in height. This is the structure of the temple. The behind this, like where the Western Wall will be, it will be somewhere around here right now today. Okay, a little lower. So these are the structures and what we believe the temple structures will look like back then. This is a look from the north to the south. And this will be the chamber that the women who were priests, the women that were descendants of Aaron, but they could not go beyond this point. They were the family members of the priests who would come in here and they would eat the holy sacrifices that belonged to them and the family of the priests. So there's a lot that we can learn from. How to study the temple, the mechanics of the temple, and the structure of the temple. And every so often, I'm going to do one of those did you know to show you some very basic things in the temple that happened that we are not aware of. And by the way, these guards were armed. The guards were armed. They were there to protect the integrity and the honor of the king. So once more, one of the three priestly courses, they will keep guard in here, in this area in the north, and also out here in this building, Beit HaMoked, in the northwest. I pray that this is a interesting topic that you may be able to learn a lot from, and I want to make another quick point about this particular slide. This slide is incorrect, so make sure that when you look at it, you know that the veil was like 76 feet high. This structure from the top all the way to the bottom, it is believed to be about 200 feet tall, almost 200 feet tall. And this area from here, down here, was like 76 feet high. And this veil coming across, from here across, it was actually pulled from the north to the west. So this slide, breaking the in the middle, that is incorrect. Okay, it's from the north, from here to the south, it would have been slide open. And during the feast, you can look into the holy place. But by the way, you cannot see it from the outside. Okay, let's see if I can take another picture. So if you're standing right here, you cannot see in here. Okay, you have to have lower elevation. You have to go up this 15 steps, go here, and then go a few more steps, and then to go into the entrance of the door of the temple, you have to go 12 more steps, as you clearly see over here in this slide. So when somebody tells you that the veil that rented was the one in the Holy of Holies, that is incorrect. It was the veil that you see right over here, this one. It was huge, 76 feet high, and a handbreadth. The handbreadth was the width of it. This was an event, ladies and gentlemen. So, and did you know then, before today, about the 24 priestly courses and the Levites protecting the temple? There's going to be a lot more. If you want to know more, please go to wisdomandtorah.com and continue to help us and pray for us that we continue to learn and search and verify information. And yes, do not believe anything I say. Verify everything I say. And I will always stand with the word of the Lord, because I believe in Adonai Elohim and his words and his holy things. May the Lord bless you and keep you guys. See you soon. Shalom.